Hello, everybody. Today I'm doing my presentation on my interdisciplinary project, popular culture and social politics. So to start, I'm just going to talk about the agenda a little bit. Okay, so for our thesis, popular culture, mainly through social media, has a direct impact on social politics, which is inherently dangerous to the cohesion of American society. So in this, we'll be talking about the relation of this topic to the natural sciences, specifically psychology, relation to social sciences, specifically political science, relation to the humanities, specifically sociology and history. We will then integrate all of these topics together and talk about what we have learned because of the integration of these topics into this subject. And then I will reflect upon the topic in general. So, to start with the application of natural sciences, the relation to psychology, studies show that right versus left wing thinkers have differences in personality. Political ideology is largely motivated by an us versus them mentality when it comes to the psychological aspects. Studies conclude that two factors for political ideological motivation are environment and personality type. To elaborate on that, environment would be what you grew up with, how you went to school, the people you were around, and the people you're currently around, and how that molds you into your political ideologies. And then personality type is obviously just the kind of person you are, and that motivates how the environment will affect you. Psychological studies yield valuable insight into the topic as well as a partial confirmation of the thesis. The partial confirmation comes from the fact that your environment can affect your psychological thinking on politics, and your environment is largely produced by popular culture, and a lot of popular culture comes up in a lot of people's lives every single day. So the application of the social sciences, specifically political science, studies show that right-wing folks tend to be more convinced by misinformation on average. Both parties are definitely guilty of being influenced by this misinformation. However, the studies have shown conservatives tend to be more influenced. Most believe social media is helpful for political action in terms of protest, but dangerous for society as well because of the misinformation. People tend to believe things that aren't true. Popular culture has the influence to change opinions, even when the information is false. This is inherently dangerous. So the studies yield valuable insight into fake news, believability, and also fully confirms the other part of the thesis that was presented in the first slide. Moving on to the application of the humanities, the relation to history and sociology. History shows that this is not a new concept. Yellow journalism was rampant during World War I, and that's part of the reason that public support for the war was actually so high. Sociological concepts like consensus theory and confirmation bias tend to explain these phenomenon about why people choose environments that confirm their preconceived notions or get involved in this tribalistic mentality politically. While the main humanities discussed our history and sociology, all topics within humanities could inform us as to why these things happen. History and sociology offer important context that shine light on why politics have become a psychological and tribalistic issue. Overall, the integration of history provides a background that makes these things make more sense. It doesn't make it seem like this is a new pandemic, so to speak. This is simply something that has been going on. It's just gotten much more rampant with the advent of social media. Integration. So these topics obviously all contribute context and background as to why this phenomenon of political polarization is so rampant and why popular culture is definitely affecting it. People take in information based on what they see, hear, and read every day. And a lot of that in 2023 is social media information, and a lot of that social media information is political. So if someone uses the tools and the context learned through these topics, they can make sure they do not fall into the many political traps that exist, specifically relating to tribalism or the inability to accept facts presented. Unfortunately, those who do spread misinformation do understand the power of it, and that is part of the reason why they choose to employ it. Overall, these using these topics and looking at social politics, one can make more reasonable conclusions based on the facts presented if the tools are used properly. Obviously, someone can use anything for bad. It's just a matter of looking at things logically, subjectively, and drawing conclusions based off facts and not off unreliable sources, posts on social media, and things of that nature. For reflection, and why should we care? So I chose this topic personally because I've always had an interest in politics, and with that interest came a high level of frustration because I've rarely been able to find civil or meaningful discourse when it comes to politics with pretty much anybody. it almost always ends in an argument or, improper characterizations of each other based on political ideologies. I'm satisfied with my findings because it does offer some insight on how to deal with these frustrations and how to help people understand that these things are just driving a wedge further into American society, and it's not necessarily facts. It's just people trying to get you to click on their article and make some money. This context creates a clear pathway for change. So I think it's important that everyone understands it. And I really hope that everyone starts to understand it personally. I feel everyone should know about this topic because if you don't understand how dangerous political polarization is, our society is sure to collapse. Without unification, we're all just going to be, there's going to be too much infighting for us to get anything meaningful done for our country. And that, at the end of the day, that's what matters, our country and the people within it. And I think people, once using all of these topics discussed, and really, if they listen to what I had to say, I think people will understand that this is an issue, and everyone can do something to help it. It's not just one person against the world. If everybody just used a little bit more subjectiveness and turned on their reasonable thinking and logical thinking, that we could really solve a lot of the problems that society has. Well, thank you for listening to my presentation, and thank you for a great semester. Here are my references. And again, thanks so much.